Don't get my content wrong. I support the blue line, meaning I support police. But the fact of the matter is that God is above man, and man is above law. And when the law starts going above man and man's rights to steal away the man's rights, the whole law and the whole everything that God sees is above all of it, supersedes everything. So that's where, we have man creating the law that creates our rights. Now, when those rights are being stripped away from us, that's where God comes in. Where God is giving us inalienable rights to protect ourselves, right? So, if they're getting it wrong, and in my case, since I was born, basically with my dad getting away with everything that he's gotten away with, the whole law is getting everything upside down and backwards in its own line of accounts, drawing money in its own line of accounts, or its own pledge of allegiance to anything other than that which is superseding all of it. God, way up here, God. So if it all goes that way, good luck in life. I hope you think you can rob God of what is God's in the end, which is the truth. But if you aren't thinking of that wrath or the lake of fire, then go ahead and continue. But don't think that you're going to just take things out of context when I was in it was a hyperbole that I was in and dealing with, coming out of a long-standing poisoning of this magnitude of a crime against me, of being poisoned up, basically having a slow drip here and there to hit me hard, and then I lived through it, and then there was a slow drip here and there to keep control of me and hit me hard. And after enough of those times where they kept hitting me hard expecting that I'd die, I didn't figure it out until, 43 years old. So I figured it out at 43 years old because of all of the long-standing covert attacks constantly coming, and then setting stages up just perfectly to, we love you, but we're not really loving you, we're going to withdraw from you. In just the nick of time, hit them hard. This time it's got to work because it's a cyanide attack. This time it's not just arsenic. It's got to hit them. And especially, and it would have, if I didn't play up the part for so long that I was on to them, or play up the part as though I wasn't on to them, but I was, and I was like, I had to figure out how to act then, because I couldn't just go and bounce away. If I bounced away, which I did try to do, it just got super hard. So I had to play pretend and pretend that they were still there for me, knowing that when they were calling me one after another to constantly just only decipher whether or not their attacks of arsenic or poisoning was working well enough for their next their next go-to on their drawing boards to attack me with. Then all of a sudden it's like you're taking a hyperbole of out of context of my character, because it's not painting a picture of my actual true character. I've never been able to live my true character. Never. Not even once in my whole entire 44 years have I been able to live a single day of my own true nature. Because these people want to draw me out of my own truest nature so that they can perform these crimes over me. And by performing these crimes over me, it's called biological covert warfare, or biological covert control of a person, leaving me completely blind to what is actually happening. And then not only that, but the character that you represent is all different. Like you're blinded. You're in a rage. You're trying to hold on to love, and it's not there. You're reaching out for love, and you're just in a rage. And I believe wholeheartedly you have every right to be in that rage when you're being chemically and biologically controlled. So I know my rights as far as that's concerned, the rights of mankind, all of the amendments. I understand all of these amendments. And then when you have one amendment stripped away out of the, say the first 1 through 10 or 1 through 14 of your rights to pursue life, love, and happiness, one of those rights is stripped away, all of them are gone. All of them. If you don't have the right to speak, like I'm trying to speak, then all of the rest of my rights are stripped. And the reason is because my right to speak is tied to every single other one of those rights. So when I'm being biologically controlled, for an example, through a covert, very calculated arsenic abuse coming from very malignant narcissists that have turned sociopathic, that have also turned very psychopath, then nothing in my rights is there, because I can't speak something that I don't know, and I can't speak out about something that I can't see to notice what's going on. It's like stripping a person blind, pushing them around, and then blaming the person, the blind person that's pushed around. Like, okay, let's just go push around a bunch of blind people and then say there's nothing wrong with us. Look at this blind person. He's all fucking all over the place, just lashing out at everybody. You can't even see what's happening. And that's kind of what the situation has done in my life. So, because I know my rights, I'm very mad about the covert arsenic poisoning, especially with it coming from people that were supposed to love me and were playing that they had me in their support system, that I was supposed to be loved. And I even told people not to be in any relationship with me at all if you have anywhere inside of yourself to do any harm, or if you love me enough where you're allowing yourself to let me go if I want my own time. I want you to trust me that I'm not going and being with somebody else, or if it's a female, for an example, I'm not gonna say I want my time to myself to write, or I want my time to myself to clean, or to work on something that I'm trying to work on in my life, to have them think that, oh my gosh, she's going to be cheating on me and I'm going to show up there and blah, 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 when that's not even the case. The whole case is that because they're in a syndicate in that fashion, they couldn't let go of me, not only for the fashion of needing to suffocate me down to the bone covertly, with arsenic poisoning through the proxy war, but because they couldn't handle me trying to climb up the ladder and do anything better for myself than anyone else is doing. Because it's obvious in the Bible that people don't want you to do anything better for themselves if they can't do it for themselves. In that same defense, I thought that the Christianity and the people of good heart, obviously I've been poisoned off my whole life, so I'm very, very wrong about the rest of the world. I thought there's a whole lot more love in the world than there is. You can right now, today, 2025, in a lot of my life, I thought there was legitimately places you could go to for help about this kind of thing. So ultimately, I'm saying that my right to speak has been kind of biologically controlled and stripped from me in that fashion. And now that it's to paint up the character the same way that it has before, in order to paint that character as into somebody that I am not. Because the somebody that I am is a whole lot different than the somebody that is an arsenic poisoned individual. So you yourself would be just as angry as I am. And I have read stories where some of your own, and I mean police, have and come back and catch their wife cheating on them with their friend or somebody. And everyone's just fucked up. People die. Like just crazy stories, man, that you can find just on Google or Yandex or whatever you like to use for an internet search. But you can find these stories, and I'm just sitting there like, literally like 2% of what I've gone through in my life, and everyone's fucked up. Wow. Nice. Very cool. Not cool at all, but... So, everyone involved just... completely, obviously the officer's got a gun with him in his holster, so... That probably didn't make it easy for him to, self-regulate emotional values, things like that. But if someone's in that state of way, if you even have to question the contents of the character of your wife, or your girlfriend, or your husband, or your boyfriend, you probably shouldn't be in that relationship. Probably shouldn't even be there. Because the questions and contents of character should not be questionable. They shouldn't even be on the forefront of your mind when it has to deal with love. Because if everyone's going to be in that hyperbolic state of mind, and then it's literally like, where in my case, it's like 4 or 5 sentences, or 4, I don't know how many sentences. They're probably more than that, but if they're like able to clip up those parts where it's like, I'm still like having really bad trouble, obviously right now, today, about the same things. Because not only were they playing in proxy to control my life biologically, but they're playing by proxy to perform identity theft, and on top of identity theft and hacking me to hijack my life and steal my value, steal my NTF money, take away my right to have an organic relationship. See, this gang stalking is nothing but these grown-ass adults being cock blockers of what the, ebonics or the younger generations would call, stepping on someone's toes to be able to perform in life as they ought the right to perform. Doesn't matter if it's in your love life, it doesn't matter if it's in your work life, it doesn't matter if it's in your writing a book or in your flow of trying to grow. But if you're taking these things out of context and you're not taking them as a hyperbole without any actual plan of action, these things that these people did are plans. They've been plans. They've been planned the whole way through my life. Those are plans. That's premeditation. If you're going to take a hyperbolic state based on the premeditated type of crime of trying to take my life, to create the identity theft, to steal my own house from me, so that these people can make not only the money that they have made off of my energy and siphoning my energy and siphoning everything away from me, then whatever, I'll let God finish the story for me when they finally take my life. But the fact of the matter is that I've been fighting for my life. I've been fighting in ways that I couldn't even see for so long what was happening to me. Just knowing it down to my bone that I'm dealing with a very psychological, spiritual, covert warfare of setups of attack against my life, against where I have to place my feet to go through the systems, through the courts, through this, that, and the other, through homelessness, because ultimately they want you homeless, dead, suicidal, or suicided, like they actually want you to take your life so that they can feel good about themselves, like, oh, we finally got him to do it. I don't know how people can feel that way and feel good in that way, but now I know the names of a few people that are exactly like that in my life. Or they want you in jail or dead. Jail, dead, homeless, or you taking your life. That's the point of the gang stalking. Because Not only is it gang stalking to the point where it's like they need to hide up all of their crimes, and that's what it was. Like in the olden days when it was people denying of Christ, it would show up on their door, a blood cross on their door. And this was spiritually happening. And spiritually it would be recognizing that the I don't know how you would say it, but the blood of Jesus Christ was not even allowed, like, beyond this door. So the blood of the cross was outside the door. And then, or the blood of, I don't know how it worked exactly. I've just heard a story, that's all. But it was to tell people that there is no value there. There's nothing there. That's why people have like a very hard time with realizing that the fasci, the fasci, which is a form of, something to look at, and they're putting these fasci statements and all of these commercial statues and the cross, the picture of the cross above what the actual cross and what Jesus Christ has represented. So it's not putting anything above what is God or what is God's. So, I mean, honestly, we're not supposed to even be wearing stuff that has fasci on it, or like some picture or whatever. But then you see the world today and the way it works, and everyone needs money in order to live and need to have energy, and you can't, run copper up trees and copper into the ground to, you'll be eradicated. Basically, if you try to get free energy, you'll just be completely stomped on. So the flower of life, like the sight of a snail, and how things grow out the ground, and everything is in that flower of life. That's how it happens. And that DNA is the same spiral, the same exact everything. And then it's in the DNA in our body, down to our cellular level. And everything that's written inside of this world is like, it's like how they say it, the God code or whatever. And it's like God with his pen writing everything, or speaking everything into existence, speaking the word. And that's why it's really, really important how we speak with each other and have our word with each other, because if we don't have those words correctly with each other, then our words to another person can break that person. That's what I say. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. This is a lie. I would way rather have people come at me with sticks and stones and try to break my bones than use words to hurt me, because words hurt more than anything. And so what ultimately they're doing is they're people in these gang stalking rituals, satanic ritual abuse, occultists design and all this stuff. They're speaking things that are literally casting spells upon other people. And then those spells actually affect those people's lives, because there's no love that can be obtained there. You can be reaching out for it. You can be blinded off by poisons. Where's that love? And I'm not able to get it. What, huh? And then all of a sudden you're just lashing out like, what the fuck? And then, so if you're in that state of mind and you speak into the realm that we live in, the world, the earth, whatever, flat earth, round earth, whatever it is, the fact of the matter is that if you're speaking wrong, it doesn't even matter if you're speaking it about yourself, or if you're speaking it about another person, or if you're speaking it out about a group of people. If you're speaking in that wrong tone, in the wrong light, then you're creating that reality that is leaving the world wholly masked and blind. Like in the olden days, like you would just go in your door, running away. People would run away, like, oh, they think they're telling the truth. Let's go run away and let's mask up and let's do this and that. And let's put a bunch of makeup on our faces and let's all be a bunch of clowns. And I'm not a man and they're not a woman. I'm a woman and they're a man. And then whatever, they want to be like, I'm a squirrel, or I'm a, I don't know, whatever. They want to gender qualify anything to be anything, whatever. I don't know what they're trying to do there, but it's just completely like, what? Ultimately, it's just going up against God. Like, you're literally like, it's just a one-step crime, more further than just crime itself, and it's a crime against God. Because if you look at even just in nature, what fits, like a puzzle piece, then you would know that man is supposed to be with woman in that fashion. And if you don't understand that much, then it's like, I don't know what you understand, because the fact of the matter is that you, me, and everybody, we all came from a woman, right? We came from our parents that were two people who had intercourse inside or outside of relationship or whatever. And then we got our gender divinely created by the divine, the Lord, who created us in the belly. So if we're going to go up against that, it's legitimately going up against God. And if that's okay to go up against God on that level, then no matter what you think, these things are all crimes against your own selves. Because if we're all mirrors of each other, and it literally is that way, we are all literally mirrors of each other. That's how I came to understand these crimes against me, is because these people were not able to ever mirror back to me who I am to me. So that's giving you intuition. It's giving you breadcrumbs. They're breadcrumbing my reality constantly. Here's breadcrumb, here's breadcrumb, here's breadcrumb. All over the place. But while you're lost off out of state, if I was never lost off out of state, it would have been like 14 years old. I'm fucking out of here, yo. Excuse my French, but literally, I wanted to run away, and I wish I did. And I wish I didn't get brought back by the police that brought me back, because obviously right after that, it's like coddle Matthew, and long enough to coddle him into wherever they needed to get me to poison me up again, unwittingly. And there it went. It was like, I literally don't know how to stop this. And it's like literally for 22 minutes or something like that, you're like legitimately having your mental refrain of like wanting to run away, pack your bag and leave and everything. And then all of a sudden 22 minutes passed, and now it's like, okay, done. No longer there. I'm no longer here, everybody. Hi. Hi. Hey. And then you were realizing that that person on the other side was doing these things to you, but then all of a sudden you don't. Hey, how's it going? You want to do something? Should we go out and whatever, play baseball? And that was never the case, because they didn't care to do anything with you. They just didn't care about me. Caring about me would have meant that they wouldn't have done this in the first place. Caring about me would have meant that I would never had anything to question within the contents of another person's character to be in that stay of love. That stay of love requires the Lord. And the reason I say that is because without the Lord, being the love itself that gives through the Holy Ghost, to be able to love another person, to love your family, to love in general, to have love for yourself, you have to be in love with the Lord, because that's the only way that you can get that love back into your own situation in your own life, to experience love. Otherwise, what are people doing? Just fucking-ing? And that's all they're doing? Sex is 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 sex. Without God, it's a shame. It's a sad, sad shame. Very, very, very sad shame. So anyway, that's all I'm going to say for now. I just really wanted to point it out that there's people out there legitimately dealing with the whole 2% of what I've had to go through. And they go into the hyperbole of that not being able to control their emotions and not have a plan right in place or whatever and run game. They had no self-control to regulate those types of strong emotions. If you're in a situation like that and you're a police officer and your wife or your husband is cheating on you and you have a gun in your holster, it's going to be really hard. But you need to walk the fuck away. You need to get in that car and you need to figure it the fuck out. Get out of that car. Get out of that situation. Go get in your car. Drive far enough away to get out of that car and scream. Do whatever you have to do. But the fact of the matter is that if you're going to take that state of mind just in and of itself without poisoning, mind you, not because there was affairs here, is what I'm saying. So if you're going to take that state of mind in and of itself of screaming over the internet and run gambit on me based on what I have been having happen in my life, you're utilizing the law above inalienable rights to strip me of my rights completely. And if you ask me, in the end, God is not going to be okay with that. I've been tooth and nail with that because I have been wiped out of my ability to take the thoughts that I had to speak them, being completely shut out and shunted from being able to take that normal, original, organic value of Matthew to do Matthew the way Matthew would do Matthew. So, if they want to take that type of content and suggest that that is my character, they are stripping me from all of my rights, all of my ability, all of my availability of myself to run this game. Scribble, scribble, scribble. Let's just take some steel wool and scrub Matt away. Right? And they're going to call it okay? I'm not okay with it, G. I'm not okay with it. You wouldn't be okay with it. You and your whole get up. And yes, I'm talking about the badge. I'm going like this about a badge. Like, you and your whole get up would not be okay with it. Your own fucking self. But there's no plans of action. There's nothing for these people to worry about, as far as I'm concerned. They should be either worried about you guys doing the right thing, or they should be worried about God. Either way, I think they really need to worry about God and God's wrath. Because it's sad. It's truly heartless to do what these people have done to me from jump. And then to have a whole system of pressures upon my head, not leaving me to resources, which is illegal. After dealing with covert warfare in this kind of fashion, or attempted murder, after poisoning attack, after girlfriend holding a pillow over my head, after affairs meaning to fucking get me into a state of mind in the first place, it's illegal. Not to mention it's illegal because I can't continue to grind in my own grind, because going out to do, say, DoorDash, it wasn't Door. I'm just saying in just general, doing a gig app community. You go out there and you're working and your phones are hacked, and then it's taking you an extra 35 minutes, 45 minutes, 20 minutes here, 15 minutes there. And then on top of it, you have these constricting values coming against you from these people at the same time that aren't there for you. And it's like, you can't, like, if you're put into a situation where you have to go out of your way that far, you need to be able to grind that much harder throughout every single day. And when that's being strictly taken from you without your wherewithal about it, well, now it's not only your energy to have an extra $200-300 per week, but it's the energy of having an extra $200-300 per week and just your grind itself. So there goes $600 a week. That's and I mean, that's just even on the short end of the stick. But you're talking about, this is my life that they're taking away from me. And mind you, the reason that they're doing it is to lead me into a specific place, to poison me up, flop me to the ground. They can steal the deed of my house, create the forged, fraudulent fucking signatures to do identity theft, insurance fraud with the life insurance policies is what the identity theft also entails, and the deed of my house, being that their mortgage broker, A, and person B, and proxy warfare relationship C, and so on and so forth. You see? Because they don't want to get caught for their criminal action. No, they need the victim to shut the fuck up. So if you, police officer, were okay with something like that, to allow for a whole group of people to be sitting there working against you in concert so that they could hide their faces, and God, like in the back in the old days, they'd go and hide in their doors, and it'd be a cross, on a blood cross on their door, allowing them to know that they're hiding. They're hiding behind the blood of Jesus. So if that's okay with you, I mean, if you're gonna be okay with them cheating on you, when you go to work, you're just fine with it, and getting poisoned off at the same time, and they're getting hacked, and you're having your whole life hijacked from you, and they're working in identity theft, like, say your name is Christine Greenleaf, or Greenspan, whatever it is. They're stealing your actual name away, and your social security, your content, your creative ability, your writing, your Facebook, your Instagram, your everything. They're stealing it away from you. And if you're okay with that, and you're not going to work in the corrective manner of the law, then y'all are the ones that are hyperbolic. You are the very hyperbole that needs to be eradicated, not the victim that it's happening to. You see what I'm saying? You get to go home at the end of the day. Hopefully your spouse isn't cheating on you and all this stuff isn't happening to you. But you get to go home at the end of the day and have a hot shower. When you need a hot shower, you need a hot shower. But now you're dealing with the aftermath of a very cold and calculated arsenic abuse, and you're feeling it day in and day out. You need to detox. Now they're stripping you of your availability to do that. You already weren't able to get the help from the medical professionals already to chelate your body of a very cold and calculated something. I won't name it. I was even saying that. I won't name it. You guys have the tools of your trade. Figure it out. Oh, well, fuck. Now we really need to get him into a mental health unit. It's not mental health. There's no tests to even prove what their claims are. There's tests that they have to prove what's in my blood. And there's also a way to, little by little, week in, week out, draw out the poisoning from my body, get my heart working normal. There's also a way that the courts can give me a brand new name and a brand new social security number, and I could go upon my own way and get the F out of the way of all of these covert narcissists in my life. Period. End of story. End of discussion. End of discussion. But I hope that you see what I'm trying to say here, because it's actually very outstanding to me that people should be able to realize what's happening not only in the world if these things go freaking upside down on me any further than it already has, but then offering me no resource available. 1.5 million charities out there, however many churches being in a sect of a sect and a division of a division of what Jesus Christ's words were actually about, giving us the authority. So I just want you guys to know that, because I believe it's really important for you to learn that, because you're not gonna, if these people think that they're gonna gaslight the Lord with what's just in that Bible, and then it's not the blood and the reasoning and the wisdom above what comes from the book. The book is a good sponge for the brain. Yes. It's good to read your Bible. Yes. But the fact of the matter is that the knowledge and the keys that are left inside of that book are supposed to go inside of your actual life. You see? And if you're not taking it into the actual world, or you're just going, I drive to a Sunday church, right? And then I'm there for just that church, but I'm not going to take what I'm learning in that church to take into my everyday life. Then you're not a Christian. You go to a church to look good and pretend to care and pretend to be a Christian and pretend to love. But the value that's there is very minimal, dismal. And if people want to be that way, then they want to be that way. But there's more to life that should be beautiful. Beautiful. Like, I would like to, instead of doing this whole video, be taking pictures of the sky over here. You see, I would like to be able to do my creative efforts that you're seeing here. And instead of actually speaking out about something serious in my life, I would actually like to live me. Like, okay, I'm gonna go live me now. You see, and not be in this at all. At all. Bye, I've never been here. I was over here the whole time. You see what I'm saying? Maybe you don't understand what I'm saying. I hope you understand what I'm saying. Those who get it will understand what I'm saying. But I wanted to live my own life. And with people around that actually wanted to enjoy this amazing sky. But I am really, really, really sad. And it's frustrating as all hell. Just feeling my normal passions. Like, I'm a good drummer. I wanted a PA system and a whole, studio and stuff. And I wanted to work really hard to create that and create my website and not do any of this. I wanted it to be a funneling system for my Heartworks channel. Just, one part of 12, that I was writing up. Then I think people, like these people driving by right now, would all actually be a part of today. Or could be a part of right now, here and today. But they would never understand that. Because they've never been offered it. Like this guy driving by right now. Oh, he for sure has never been offered anything like I'm talking about. This fucking trailer's falling apart. You can hear it driving down the road. Flip that motherfucking thing upside down. I'm telling you, that shit was not legal. Me personally, I don't care. I'm playing cop now. I don't care because he was trying to do stuff in his life. Obviously not a targeted individual on the levels that I'm talking about, but so I'm not going to pull him over. Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. Anyway, I'm going to go. Love you guys. Thanks for being here. Thanks for trying to understand what I'm going through and what I'm saying. Bye for now.